As many of you know, I'm not particularly fond of Tom King and his depressed writing style. I don't like him using me and the rest of the DC Comics universe, or their readership at least, as his vessels for therapy. You know, I like that he can get it all out there and talk about his feelings and what's really got him down. I don't like that I have to pay for it, or that anyone has to pay for it. And I understand you can throw personal elements into a comic book story, but everything Tom King does really ends up just kind of depressing. Makes you feel bad for the guy, but really in the end, I just feel bad for me for wasting my time. Obviously, the biggest culprit being his 85-issue Batman run that continued on with Batman, Catwoman, and some other specials like that. And he's currently on Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman is a slog. If you read the first issue, it went through about 6 issues worth of content to set up this big war between Wonder Woman and the American government, while Wonder Woman was going to get to the bottom of Amelie, this Amazonian that murdered a bunch of dudes in a bar, and she was going to find out why she did it and get her to justice and all that stuff. We have done nothing with that particular story. It's just her eating rats, sitting around, waxing poetic with random characters while the Sovereign narrates one of the most boring, tedious comic books in recent memory. Thankfully, right now, we are in the middle of Absolute Power. I'm not consuming Absolute Power unless I must. So I'm reading the Absolute Power Batman tie-ins, Green Lantern, and Superman tie-ins. I'm avoiding everything else. I'm getting 3 issues off of Wonder Woman in the middle of this run, and it turns out it's not going to be the middle of it. Unfortunately, Tom King is in here for the long haul. At least that's what he's threatening everybody with. He's given Wonder Woman the Batman treatment. Batman fans were certainly fed up with Tom King by the end, and we're happy to see him gone. And I imagine Wonder Woman fans will feel the exact same way. But I don't believe, in my heart of hearts, DC Comics will continue on this path for nearly that long. But he is threatening it. And we can all hope as DC Comics readers that James Gunn, who professes to think that Tom King is the best comic book writer in the industry today, truly believes that. Apparently, he's a key member of the writer's room for the DCU, James Gunn's new DC movie shared universe that he's doing. And thankfully, he can only do 1 book at the moment, although I guess he's got some New Gods stuff. No, it's not New Gods, because that's Ram V. He's got another book out, Jenny Sparks or something. Who gives a fuck? That's a book avoiding at all costs because it's not nearly as important as Wonder Woman. But this is the big threat that's out there, and some more information on where we're going on Tom King's Wonder Woman plans. This information came out of a podcast. Tom King plans on writing Wonder Woman for at least 100 issues. I have no intention of anyone coming after me for a long time. Like I did 85 of Batman and 100 altogether about with the extra specials and all that stuff. And I want to do that with Wonder Woman. He wants to go 100 strong on a Wonder Woman run. And Wonder Woman fans are just crapping their pants right now, going, "Oh, please, God, don't put me through this." But the good news is, in his 100 issues altogether, which clearly includes his Wonder Woman run, but the good news is, in his 100 issues of Batman altogether, which includes his Batman run, 85 issues, his 12-issue Batwoman, Catwoman maxi series, there's like some Batman One Bad Day stuff in there. There is an outlier. One fantastic standalone comic book that everybody loves in unison, and it's Batman versus Elmer Fudd. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we finally get the Wonder Woman v. Elmer Fudd comic book that we've always been looking for, and that can be the highlight of Tom King's Wonder Woman run, because it's certainly not going to be the resolution of whatever's going on with Emily, which we haven't heard of, because it certainly won't be whatever's going on with Emily and the investigation into the murders that she perpetrated that caused an enormous outcry against the Amazonians and expelling all the illegal Amazonian immigrants that were in America back to paradise. Just what evil people, sending women back to paradise? Who could think of such a thing? But she has not been concentrating on that. She's been interrogated by Sovereign quite a few times, let go for reasons unknown, eaten a rat, bought a wonderful birthday present for Batman. That was a really enthralling issue. She even used a nice little cancer victim as a human shield, even though she was the most wanted person in all of America and likely would have been tracked down right to his house with his family in tow. They're lucky they're not all dead at this point. But that's basically what Tom King's Wonder Woman run is. And of course, he is committing the greatest sin of all. He's once again just wasting great art. How many awesome artists did he have on that Batman run? You know, with like Finch and obviously Clayman, Jorge Fornes, I believe, was on there. A lot of really good artists on that Batman run. Wasted all of them. And right now he's wasting Daniel St. Pierre, who should be a rising star at DC Comics. But unfortunately, he's illustrating this very lackluster, boring ass, paced like, I don't know, a snail walking on fucking ice, you know, going literally nowhere, just standing still so Tom King can wax poetic from the point of view of the Sovereign, his Trump stand-in, and he can get his fifis out there and finally work through all those emotional issues with the reader. Of course, you're paying for it. He's not paying for it. We are. And it's just been very tedious. And I wonder when, possibly, could this stupid Sovereign story end? And we actually know the answer to that. And I think it's going to surprise a lot of people because it's literally gone nowhere. Nowhere at all. But we're almost halfway there. Tom King stated in an interview earlier this year, I think we have the first 25 issues mapped out at this point. Speaking of Wonder Woman, the Sovereign story will end by issue 20-ish. And then we'll move on to the next thing. We have a big crossover event coming for the next 3 issues after the Sacrifice arc, speaking of absolute power. And then we begin an arc in number 14, which is going to be the biggest issue since number 1 that sets up the final confrontation with Sovereign. And then we're launching into a new arc after that. So that's how far ahead I am. Well, thank God you've mapped out one story arc to be completed in 20 issues. One piece of resolution in almost 2 years. Thanks, Tom. Really, really glad you had the forethought on that one to really map this bad boy out and get somewhere. It's been so bad. It literally goes nowhere on a monthly basis. It's one of the most tedious, just exasperating reads at DC Comics. You know, almost similar to what Tom Taylor did with Nightwing, where Nightwing just like sat there. And there's this big threat out there, and he never does anything about it. Never confronts him, never tries to win. He just sits there and receives accolades and accolades and accolades. But at least his characterization of Nightwing is pretty much spot on. Nightwing's a good guy. He's looking out for his friends. He's a little bit too much into the celebrate me kind of thing, which doesn't feel like Nightwing. But other than that, nothing about this book feels like Wonder Woman. But thankfully, after 2 years, we will get a finale. A finality. That's not a big villain because he really wasn't even included in the absolute power thing. He's not part of the Trinity of Evil. That is Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller. Oh my goodness. Somehow Amanda Waller is a more compelling villain than the Sovereign and his lasso of lies, which broke down Diana as she was in prison. Don't know how she was in prison. Don't even know how she was caught, but she was caught. And then she had to live through the horrors of being a trad wife. You know, in the 60s to Steve Trevor. Thankfully, she fought her way out of that, ate her rat. And then he released her, even though he being Sovereign, thinks Wonder Woman is the greatest threat to his power in the entire world, and put her on an island with Cheetah because Cheetah was going to eat her, even though I don't think Cheetah's ever defeated Wonder Woman in single combat. They fought for a week straight, and then Sarge Steele turned on him off panel, of course, because you can't have any of the big moments actually happen within the story itself, and showed the 3 Wonder Girls that we have now where Diana was so they could save them both. And it's been rough. We even got the moment where Diana Prince just started murdering U.S. soldiers, just doing their job. Of course, she's a superhero. She's not supposed to be murdering people, but she was literally swinging tanks like by the barrel and murdering little boys and murdering young men and women in the United States military while Steve Trevor watched and then still sided with her. I just don't believe that Tom King gets who Wonder Woman is. He wants her to be the world's biggest rebel. And certainly there is a rebellious nature to Wonder Woman. She has that in her. I'm currently reading, DC, The New Frontier from Darwin Cook. And that version of Wonder Woman certainly has a little bit And that version of Wonder Woman certainly has a rebellious streak in her. But he's not playing it out in a way that actually makes sense for Wonder Woman. It's a way that makes sense for Tom King, which is in essence the thing that always kills, which in essence is always what kills Tom King's run and makes people turn on him, because he never gets the characters right, because he doesn't like the characters, he likes himself. And he wants to talk about himself using the characters and, who wants to do that? Who wants to pay for that? Apparently, unfortunately, more people than should. Otherwise, Tom King wouldn't be employed at DC Comics anymore. Now, I did mention there are 3 Circle Girls in this book. You've got, Cassie Sandsmark, you got Donna Troy, and you've got Yara Flor. But that's not enough. We've actually introduced a 4th Wonder Girl in the Wonder Woman series. Her name is Trinity, and it's suspected that she could be the daughter of Diana Prince. And the Sovereign, who's been imprisoned seemingly for a long time since the very beginning in these backup stories, is telling Trinity about how amazing Diana Prince is, even though he's already been telling the reader the entire time how amazing Diana Prince is. It's actually quite revolting at some point. Now, I believe that this daughter is the daughter of Amelie, the lady that murdered the dudes, and then Diana Prince is going to adopt her once she kills her, if she ever kills her. Hopefully she does. It probably should have happened by now. It seems like she's given up the hunt or whatever. But we will also be getting more Trinity in the future. I know this is what you wanted, what I wanted, what everybody wanted. We will be getting an ongoing Trinity series. Trinity will see 3 different versions of Trinity from different times: the toddler, the middle grader, the middle schooler, and the older teenager previously seen in the Trinity stories, but all existing together and working together at the same time, except Trinity. Expect Trinity #1 to launch later this year. So we've already got 3 Wonder Girls, which is too many. We got Donna, we got Cassie, we got Yara. And now we're going to get 3 more, because we're going to get 3 versions of Trinity. The one where she's a toddler that wants to dress up as a Robin that's being babysat by John and Damian. And then there's an older one, and then a little bit older, like young lady version. And they're all going to be fighting together as a team, as if we haven't had these multiversal team ups of the same character done to death over the past 10 years. Me personally, I skip the backup stories. Sometimes there's something in there that can be interesting, but for the most part, it's tedious bullshit like the regular series. And once I get to the final page of the main story, I'm just relieved that it's over, and I'm not willing to take any more on. For me, maybe you're liking Trinity. I don't think we need a Trinity series. There are 100 other characters that probably deserve a series before Trinity, and this also means we'll probably be getting another ongoing written by Tom King, which is the last thing I want, because I think we're all Tom King'd out. I know Batman fans are. I know Wally West fans are. I know Mr. Terrific fans are. Probably Adam Strange fans. And at this point, I don't know why Wonder Woman fans wouldn't be just completely turned off by this lame-ass version of the character that's been plotting wrong and doing much ado about nothing for quite some time. But that is Tom King's MO, or as I call him, the Alan Moore of dumbassery, because he would like to be Alan Moore, but he's such a dumbass, he doesn't actually understand what Alan Moore was doing that made him spectacular and why Alan Moore's legacy endures to this day. Will people be talking about Tom King in 50 years? Yes, I think they will be talking about his Batman run and how he destroyed the most popular character at DC Comics and had to be removed. They'll certainly be talking about Batman 50 and all the goodwill that issue in particular destroyed. But I don't think they'll be saying much else about Tom King. They won't be talking about his Wonder Woman run, even if it goes to 100. They might be talking about Heroes in Crisis and the damage done to Wally West if the character ever recovers, saying, hey, look at what Tom King did that was so bad, and the character still endured because people loved him and they worked with him and they were able to rehabilitate the character. But those are really the only legacies that Tom King's going to have. My greatest hope, and probably the greatest hope that any DC fan should have, is that the DCU goes well. James Gunn continues to have a weird man crush on Tom King and his writing style and wants to employ him so fully that he just doesn't have time to fiddle with comic books anymore. I'm praying for that. That's what I would like. I know that's what a lot of you would like. And we are getting, but make no mistake about it, Tom King is threatening Wonder Woman fans with the Batman treatment, and ain't nobody wants that. Absolutely not. If you like what we're doing here on Thinking Critical YouTube, providing an honest perspective of the comic book industry, what's going well, what's going wrong, what needs to change, and you would like to support us, I do want to see you over on Thinking Critical Patreon. We have lots of awesome podcasts with great discussions like this, but lots more. If you haven't checked it out, there's a link in the video description. I hope to see you there very soon.